What's up, guys? Just here by my channel. Tonight, be doing a review for Magna Raw, so let's get tuned in. Yes, I got a haircut this morning and stuff, shave it all off, all that stuff. But don't worry, it'll grow back eventually because my hair grows back very quick. So, anyways, let's get tuned in with a segment with Logan Paul, and I can't stand this fucking dude. Anyways, so in the arena, Logan Paul makes his way out to the ring. Paul welcomes us to Monday Night Raw, and it says it's a fact he will be defending Jey Uso at Saturday night's main event, and that he'll be back on Raw as a champ. Yeah, right. You're gonna lose anyways. He tells Greenville that they have no brain cells for yeeting. Paul says Uso can't handle being a champion, and that he's worried about everyone. But Logan Paul Paul says he's knocked out Uso 3 times, and he'll knock Uso again on Saturday. Gunther interrupts Paul. Gunther makes his way to the ring, and "You tapped out" chants filled the arena, and Paul is delighted with the chant. Gunther tells Paul that he seems confident to beat the man who beat him. He says that means Paul believes he's better than Gunther. Gunther says having this kind of confidence is key, as that's what drives them. And he says the WWE Universe needs to have more respect for Paul, as he is a self made social media star. Paul says Gunther is smart because Gunther says there are things Paul can teach him. Gunther says Paul can teach him about marketing and social media. Gunther says with each Paul being champion will be good for business. Paul says Gunther knows business and he loves it. Gunther says that this is business to Paul, but to him all of this is very personal. Gunther says beating Uso is personal to him, and if Paul takes that from him, he'll conclude that Paul is being disrespectful. He tells Paul to ask Pat McAfee at what he does to non-wrestlers who disrespect him. Gunther says he'll eat Paul alive if they ever face off, and that has no heart. Gunther leaves the ring, and Paul asks why Gunther is walking away. Jey Uso shows up behind Paul and super kicks him, knocking him out. Uso tells Paul he'll see him on Saturday, and that he'll see Gunther in Phoenix. Uso celebrates as Paul is still knocked out, and Gunther retreats backstage. Gunther retreats backstage. The highlight of the night shows Rhea Ripley, Io Sky versus Julia, Roxanne Perez, a match last week, all that stuff, and Roxanne Perez signing with Monday Night Raw. Right, Jey Uso walks backstage and comes across Paul Heyman. Heyman gives Uso some facts. Heyman says you have to betray people sometimes, so he wants to tell this to Uso's face, so he isn't betraying the champ. He says tonight Braun Breaker is looking to slow down Uso's momentum. He says the long-term plan is for Seth Rollins to be champion. Alright, so first match coming up, AJ Styles and Penta versus Judgment Day with Finn Balor and JD McDonough with Carlito. The bell rings and Styles and McDonough start off. The men lock up and they both back into the turnbuckles. McDonough swung into the ropes and then back body dropped. McDonough, I'm sorry, McDonough tumbles out of a hole and slams down Styles. Styles misses a drop kick, but then connects with one. Penta is tagged in, and McDonough is double teamed. Balor and Penta hits a backbreaker on Balor and on McDonough. The Judgment Day is thrown outside the ring. Styles and Penta splash onto Balor and McDonough outside the ring, and we cut a commercial break. All right, back from commercial break. McDonough drops down Penta and takes him down and hits a late drop. McDonough covers Penta for a 2 count and then slaps him in a headlock. McDonough knees Penta and tags in Balor. Balor beats on Penta and tags McDonough. Again, Balor is tagged in and they take turns beating on Penta. McDonough sits Penta on the top rope and Balor gets on the top and tries to rip off Penta's mask. McDonough is tagged in again and he tries for a back suplex, but Penta counters and slams him down. Balor is tagged in and doesn't allow Penta to tag. Balor beats on Penta in the corner, and Balor hits a snap suplex and covers for 2. Penta powers out of a submission hold and kicks Balor, and then hits a sling blade. Styles is tagged in, and he punches and clotheslines Balor. Balor raises Styles' eyes, and Styles gets the calf crusher on Balor. McDonagh tries to splash onto Styles, but he moves and McDonagh lands on Balor. McDonagh is now the legal man, and Styles is sent out to the apron. Styles hits a moonsault from the apron and hits an inverted DDT on McDonagh. Carlito slams Styles into the ring post as the ref is distracted. We cut a commercial break. Back from break, Balor clotheslines Styles and covers him for a near fall. Styles gets clobbered in the neck, and Balor puts him in a headlock. Styles powers out, and both men clothesline each other and lay each other out in the ring. McDonagh and Penta are tagged in, and Penta connects with the crossbody when McDonagh trips. McDonagh is clotheslined and then hurricaned into the ropes. Penta kicks McDonagh and takes out Balor on the apron. Penta hits a standing Spanish fly, and both men are down on the mat. Balor is tagged in and comes off the top rope, attempting a coup de grace. Penta comes out the way, kicks Balor and hits the sacrifice on Balor. Balor rolls up Penta for a near fall. Balor hits Penta with a sling blade and runs into a super kick from Penta. Penta climbs the ropes and McDonagh distracts the ref. Carlito gets involved and Styles takes out Carlito. McDonagh takes out Styles, and Penta hits a Mexican destroyer off the steel steps on McDonagh. McDonagh. Sorry. I think about something else. El Grande Americano sneaks out from the crowd and headbutts Penta. Balor grabs Penta and throws him in the ring. Hits the coup de grace and gets the win. So winners of the Judgment Day. Damn. Anyways, Captain Kelly talks to Io Sky about coming back and stuff. Sky says she's ready for anyone. Becky Lynch tells her she puts down one champion and she'll put another one. Logan Paul is on the phone backstage and Seth Rollins comes up to talk to him. Rollins tells Paul that Uso is coming to get that Uso is going to get hurt tonight, and that the odds are in Paul's favor on Saturday. Rollins tells Paul if he gets past Uso and Gunther, that Rose he'll be Rollins will be waiting for his turn. If Paul has a championship after Saturday, he knows who to thank. Alright, so second match coming out, women's Money in the Bank triple threat match, triple threat qualifying match, Becky Lynch versus Natalya versus Roxanne Perez. We get the belt, Lynch tries to get Perez to join her and take out Natalya. She tells Perez to attack, and Perez sends Lynch out of the ring. Perez and Natalya trade hits, and Natalya gets Perez on the mat, and Lynch pulls Natalya out of the ring and goes for Perez in the ring and goes for Perez. In the ring, Perez rolls up Becky Lynch for a 2 count, and Lynch then tries for a disarmer, but Perez counters and rolls up Lynch again for a near fall. Perez keeps rolling up Lynch, who keeps trying to submit her. Natalya comes in and kicks Perez out of the ring and starts slamming down Lynch. Natalya covers Lynch for a near fall. Natalya throws Lynch in a surfboard submission. Lynch breaks free, and Natalya goes for a sharpshooter, but Becky counters into the disarmer. Perez braces a hold, and all three women are now going at it. Natalya wearing smokes Perez in the corner and slams Lynch into another one. Natty kicks Perez, and Lynch elbows Natty, and then Natalya elbows Natalya. Lynch leaves the ring and tells Perez to get in the ring. Perez does, and Natalya goes outside, and Perez dives onto both Lynch and Natalya. We get the commercial break. Oh my god, I don't want to keep yawning. I'm not that tired. Alright. We come back for commercial break. Perez gets on the top rope and comes down on Lynch with a crossbite and then hits a facebuster and covers Lynch for a 2 count. Perez smokes both Natalya and Lynch in the corner, and Natalya hits a disgusting clothesline on both Perez and Lynch. Natalya tries for a double sharpshooter, but her attempt is foiled. Perez kicks down Natalya and Lynch, and then climbs the ropes and hits a springboard moonsault on both and covers Natalya for a near fall. Perez rolls up Lynch for a 2 and then tries for pop rocks, but Lynch counters to a manhandle slam. But Natalya breaks a pin. Lynch and Natalya punch each other in the middle of the ring. Lynch clotheslines Natalya against the ropes, and Natalya does the same to Lynch. Perez hits a double pop rocks and covers Natalya, and Lynch breaks the pin. Lynch and Perez now punch each other in the ring. Lynch unleashes a punch/kick, combo, and Perez then throws Lynch into the corner. Perez climbs the ropes and Lynch punches her before she can dismount. Lynch climbs up too and punches Perez and some more on the top rope. Natalia runs in against Lynch on her shoulders and drives Lynch onto Perez. Hits a sit out powerbomb on Lynch and powerbomb on Lynch for a 2 count. Natalia then punches Perez on the top rope and suplexes Perez and covers Perez for a 2 count. Natalia locks in the sharpshooter on Perez and Lynch breaks the hold with a bulldog. Natalia clotheslines Lynch and tries for another sharpshooter on Perez. She then puts Lynch in one at the same time, and Lynch gets a top and gets on the ropes. Natalia still has Perez in the sharpshooter. Lynch breaks the hold, and Lara Valkyrie runs out and attacks Lynch. Perez hits Pop Rocks in the ring on Natalia and gets the win. So winner is Roxanne Perez. It's okay. She deserves it. Roxanne Perez deserves being in that match. So, yeah. Anyways, Jey Uso sits backstage in the locker room. Sami Zayn comes in and tells Uso that he'll deal with Heyman slash Rollins on Saturday. He says if they play the numbers game tonight, he's got Uso's back. All right, Curry saying yeah, Gable wants a qualifying match for Nio, and all of a sudden Day comes in, all that stuff. So, anyways, their match coming up: Sheamus versus Grayson Waller with Austin Theory. The bell rings, and Waller tries to kick down Sheamus. Waller slaps Sheamus and runs out for the ring. Runs out of the ring. Waller invades Sheamus by running around the ring, and the men then collide in the ring. Waller puts Sheamus in a headlock and this high headlock. Sorry, and Sheamus life lifts Waller and drives him into the turnbuckle. Sheamus locks Waller in an arm lock, and Waller counters and takes down Sheamus. Sheamus puts Waller in a headlock, and Waller cheap shots Sheamus. Waller smokes Sheamus in the gut and tries for a hip toss. Sheamus slaps Waller, knocking Waller down. Waller is then slammed down with a backbreaker and throws him across the ring and with some bales. Waller is thrown out of the ring and Sheamus goes out. Theory distracts Sheamus and Waller slams Sheamus into the ring post. Waller then clotheslines Sheamus and we cut commercial break. Back to Raw. Waller has Sheamus and slammed into the turnbuckle and elbows Sheamus in the corner and follows that up with a chop and Sheamus gets pissed. Sheamus now chops the life out of Waller. Waller stomps on Sheamus and then hits a rolling flatliner and covers Sheamus for a 2 count. Waller walks on the second rope and jumps at Sheamus and Sheamus kicks Waller right in the face. Sheamus slams down Waller and then lifts him up in a chokehold. Waller is tossed across the ring and Sheamus slaps him and the Dublin smile. Waller fights back and smokes Sheamus, sending him out to the apron. Waller then starts the 10 beats a move from Sheamus, and Sheamus stops it and slams Waller out the apron. Sheamus then hits 10 beats on Waller, but Waller gets out of their way before it can happen. Waller says he's done and starts to leave, and Theory stops him. Sheamus then grabs Waller and now hits 10 beats on Waller. Theory laughs as this happens, and Sheamus connects with the brogue kick and gets the win. So winner is Sheamus. By the way, Austin Theory was laughing at him, and it was kind of funny. An interview with Tyrese Halliburton has shown where he talks about being a playable character in the WWE video game Ace Smasher, which is coming later this year. Alright, Kelly is Gunther backstage. He has what's going on. So Seth Rollins comes in and tells him about Uso and all them and stuff. So, yeah. But anyways, so fourth match coming up. Women's Money in the Bank Triple Threat qualifying match. Kairi Sane versus Ripley versus Zoe Stark. At the bell, Stark attacks Zayn. Stark tries to roll up Ripley but fails and tries to pin Zayn and can't. Ripley suplexes Zayn and Stark drop kicks Ripley. Stark slaps Ripley around and Ripley takes her down with a shoulder tackle. Ripley drop kicks Stark and Zayn jumps onto Ripley's back. Zayn takes out both Stark. Ripley's Stark comes off the top rope and tries for a missile drop kick. And the match halts as Stark holds her knee and we cut commercial break. Yeah, she got injured very quickly. So here we go again. So anyways, we come back with commercial break. This is now a 1-on-1 match pitting Curry Zayn against Rhea Ripley as Zoe Stark has been escorted to the back with a leg injury. Zayn and Ripley battle outside the ring, and Ripley chops her against the ring apron. Back in the ring, Ripley covers Zayn, who kicks out Ripley punches and kicks Zayn on the mat. Zayn flies around her and tries for a crossbody. Ripley catches her and hits a fallaway slam and covers Zayn for a near fall. Ripley puts Zayn in a prison lock, and Zayn tries her hardest to get the ropes. Zayn flips Ripley into turnbuckles and then hits a forearm on Ripley in the corner. Zayn gets on the top rope and Ripley comes at her to stop her. Zayn jumps off the top rope and Ripley drop kicks her mid-air and recovers for a near fall. Ripley sets up for a rip tie and Zayn counters and hits a back elbow on Ripley. Zayn drop kicks Ripley and hits a basement elbow. Zayn climbs the ropes and tries for the insane elbow, but Ripley gets her knees up. Ripley punches Zayn down, and Zayn punches Ripley. The women take turns punching each other. Zayn connects with a bunch of punches, and Ripley connects with a headbutt and then hits the riptide on Zayn for the win. So winner is Rhea Ripley. A riptide for Rusev plays where he calls Kirizawa an idiot for challenging him. Bob Ranker, Sean Bell get backstage. Paul Heyman heading to his next match next. Excuse me. Goddamn. We also see Jey Uso hanging out backstage. Alright, Judgment Day is celebrating, and Fowler shows up with Roxanne Perez, and Balor says he's been chatting with Perez the last few weeks, so he wants to introduce her into Judgment Day. Balor says Mysterio was saying they need a new member. Balor says Perez can have Morgan and Rodriguez's back, like Carlito has theirs. Perez has presents for them. Rodriguez tells Perez to leave now that she's given them present and tells Balor that Morgan will hear about this. Balor laughs and says he can't wait for her to hear about it. All right, so it didn't say on here. It said I wish it was down here. It said Roxanne Perez gave Dominic Mysterio some chicken nuggets, chicken nuggies and stuff, and she gave Carlito an apple, a red apple. That's funny. So, anyways, main event coming up: Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker with Paul Heyman. We get the bell and Breaker runs at Uso. Uso moves out of the way and punches Breaker. Breaker slams Uso into the corner and drives his shoulder into him. Breaker gets punched a few times and Uso hits a Samoan spike on Breaker. Uso clotheslines Breaker over the ropes and then hits a suicide dive onto Breaker, and we cut a commercial break. Back to our main event. Uso drops Breaker in the corner, and Breaker then gets Uso in a headlock. Breaker hits a running clothesline, taking down Uso. Breaker chokes out Uso using the ropes, and then mounts him and starts punching down Uso. Uso kicks Breaker and jumps off the middle rope, and Breaker catches him and slams him down. Uso is carried for two, and Breaker pushes Uso down around and then starts stomping on Uso. Breaker hits a belly-to-belly on Uso and almost drops Uso on his head. Uso starts with punches on Breaker and then slams into Breaker in the corner, followed by a peel kick. Uso hits a running hip attack on Breaker in the corner and covers for a near fall. Uso kicks Breaker out of the ring and goes for a suicide dive. Breaker catches Uso and slams him around into everything around the ring and then jumps off the apron and clotheslines Uso. Back on Raw, Breaker and Uso are on their knees and making their way to their feet. Uso slaps Breaker and Breaker tries to powerbomb Uso Uso counters, and now Breaker and Uso trade punches. Breaker hits a knee on Uso and Uso kicks Breaker and hits a pop-up Samoan drop on Breaker and covers for a near fall. Breaker and Uso are now both on the top turnbuckle. Uso knocks Breaker off, and Breaker then hits his running Frankensteiner and covers Uso for a 2 count. Breaker goes for his running spear, but Uso super kicks him and covers for a near fall. Heyman gets on the apron, distracting Uso. Breaker leaves the ring and gets a chair, but Uso intercepts and super kicks Breaker out of the ring. Uso goes for a suicide dive, and Heyman grabs Uso's foot Uso goes after Heyman outside the ring. Seth Rollins comes from behind, and it's Uso calling for the bell. So winner by disqualification, Jey Uso. After the match, Breaker and Rollins attack Uso, and this calls out Sami Zayn. Zayn stands on the apron as Rollins and Breaker taunt him to enter the ring. CM Punk comes out and joins Zayn on the apron. Zayn and Punk enter the ring, and they start battling with Breaker and Rollins. Rollins and Breaker are sent out of the ring, and Punk and Zayn come out as well. And the battle sways outside the ring, and Zayn and Rollins fight in the crowd, and Punk jumps off the apron and onto them, and they continue fighting as the end credits roll. In the ring, Uso gets his belt, and Logan runs in and knocks out Uso, and we fade to black. And that's how the show ends, all that stuff. So, anyways, good show tonight. Stuff. It was a lot more ass commercial. How you want to say it? About watching on Netflix and stuff. It was a lot more ads and commercials, all that stuff. But anyways, it was kind of good. There were some good matches. The first match was very good and stuff, and I think the second match or with the women's money bang and stuff, yeah, it was good too. So yeah, there were some good matches on here tonight, and it was okay. But just Logan Paul, every time it comes out, Logan Paul's like, I text my mom about it, and it says, I said this to her and said, "Where's the fast forward button at?" Because I don't want to hear Logan Paul and shit and all that stuff. But yeah, so it's crazy. Anyways, that was this first video. Hope you like it, not whatever stuff. So like, subscribe, hit the button, leave a comment. If you guys don't leave a comment stuff, I don't care, guys. Who knows it? And I'll see you guys Wednesday night for AW Dynamite, right? And let's see, it doesn't go technical difficulties this past Saturday, which I didn't. That's why I didn't do a review on Collision, because when I was watching it, I don't know what happened. It was so stupid. And Tony Khan mentioned about the technical difficulties and stuff. I almost said that someone in the comments said, "Yeah, right," and stuff. But I don't know. To though, I didn't care if it went to technical difficulties this past Saturday night and stuff. So yeah. Anyways, I didn't care, but whatever. So anyways, that was it, and I'll see you guys Wednesday night. All right, laters.